This video is on a burial of the men of Nigerian military who died on the ill-fated military plane crash that occurred yesterday, the 21st of May 2021. The one you're watching right now, there are a series of videos combined together here. This particular one you're seeing right now is those of them that are Christians. This is Airforce Base Abuja, the Protestant church in Airforce Base Abuja, where their remains, those of them that are Christians, their remains have been brought here now for prayer session, after which then they will be taken down to Abuja. Likewise, the Chief of Army Staff and some other ones, the crews and some other soldiers, also some other officers, who are Muslims, have been taken to National Mosque for the same prayer section, coincidentally like that, after which all of them will now be taken to the military cemetery for burial ceremony. Please, as you're watching, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That is, if this is your first time or you've been watching without subscribing, and we'll be glad you do that. Thank you, and great thanks to all our returning subscribers for your great support. Thank you. God bless you.
Gertrude. Well, the body of the Chief of Army Staff at the Protestant Church at the Air Force Base in Abuja, and TVC News correspondent Femi Akonde is right there giving us these updates. Videos that you have seen right now is live videos from the church in Abuja, the Air Force Base Abuja. Now, earlier, their bodies arrived at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, and they were brought in by a C-130 aircraft. No problem, no. He's following the shots.
All of you come now. Just come. Okay. Okay, gentlemen, move sharp. Move sharp there.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, I understand. Sure. Sure. Sure.
All right, our TVC News correspondent Femi Akonde joins me live from the Protestant Church at the Air Force base in Abuja, the venue of the service where the bodies of the deceased have arrived in Abuja. Femi Akonde, thank you very much for joining us at this point. Now, tell us about today's proceedings at the church. What are you seeing at this point?
Well, we have 5 ambulances here carrying 5 caskets containing the remains of military officers who were killed in that air crash, that fatal air crash in Kaduna yesterday. That aircraft was also carrying the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru. But what is happening here is a lying in state, and prayers will be held for the dead, those who are of the Christian faith. They are bringing their bodies here to the Protestant church at the army headquarters here in Abuja. Just one after the other. That is the second casket being taken into the church now. We will see in that same procession, in that same order, 5 of them will be taken one after the other. The second is on its way into the church now, and the third is already being prepared to be taken into the church in military procession, with a military procession. Everything here is organized, of course, in a military order, and it happened suddenly, but you know, every day what is going on here today, the event is well organized, well coordinated by the military. The remains of the Chief of Army Staff will be taken to the National Mosque in Abuja, where prayers will be held for him at about midday, just about now, or in a short while. Prayers will start for the Chief of Army Staff and other members on board who are of the Muslim faith. We'll have prayers for them at the mosque before all the bodies will be moved to the national and the military cemetery, I beg your pardon, where interment will take place. Already our defense correspondent Sifon Essien is at the military cemetery. He will be giving us live updates from the military cemetery, but he has also told us that at the military cemetery 11 graves have been dug. That those graves will contain the 11 people on board, both our crew members, the Chief of Army Staff, some of his aides, as the head of military intelligence, the ADC to the Chief of Army Staff, Air Force officers who are members of the crew are flying that private aircraft, that aircraft, I beg your pardon, belonging to the Nigerian Air Force, and all of them will be laid to rest at the military cemetery later today at about 1 p.m. or thereabout.
All right, since you're there, tell us about the mood of the men around. How are they feeling after the death of the Chief of Army Staff?
Well, it's really hard to tell the mood around here because, you know, everyone around here, yes, it's a quiet, somber mood around here, but we have not seen tears flowing freely because these are military men. The places where we saw tears flowed freely where the families of the deceased are seated. Those are civilians. We have seen a lot of them display emotions, crying. Some of them even want the casket open so that they can see the remains of their loved ones. But you know, in this kind of event, there is order, and that order must be followed, and it's everything will be done according to the customs and tradition of the military. It's not like the conventional funeral where maybe civilians are being buried. Everything will be done according to military customs and tradition. They are trying to make family members understand that their loved ones are army officers who died defending the country, and they died in active service, and so they should allow the military, as is the custom, take charge today.
Talking about the family members, are they also allowed? Are they there? Femi Akonde, if you can hear me, I was asking about the family members that you just made reference to. Talk to us about them. Are they present at the church?
This is now another video, but still part of the burial processes. This is the prayer session for the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, and some other officers, including the plane crew that died, because they happen to be Muslims. And this is the National Mosque, Abuja. It is still ongoing. How I wish these people know how it feels to lose a loved one. I believe their loved ones, their families and friends who are here right now are feeling the emotional and psychological impacts. And I wish there is a way they themselves, who are now dead, will be over there seeing what is happening and feeling, what their loved ones, their family and friends are feeling, so as to know what it feels to lose a loved one. Most of the people they've killed are the only child of their parents, of their loved ones, of their families. Most of the people they've killed are the only breadwinners of the family, people's husband, people's wife. You saw that viral video made by an IMSU student, from over at a hostel, saying that his hostel mates was hit by a stray bullet. I mean, not just a stray bullet, because the soldiers that went and the police that went for Operation RP were just shooting, according to her, shooting at people directly, and not as if there were some unknown gunmen at that very location. At the streets, they were just shooting at people directly. And her hostel mate was just coming back from somewhere. All of a sudden, she wanted to unlock her door and get inside so she could lock it back and stay indoors, and the bullet just hit her leg. And now she's in the hospital. Imagine that bullet had hit her head or chest. That would have been her end. And that is what I found very, very baffling. That some security operatives are supposedly well trained and who are supposed to be working or deciding their duties with their laws of engagement could actually be brazenly and without conscience committing this kind of high level of extrajudicial killings against people who are, going about their businesses, who are indoors, who are not even doing anything. They're not in the street. They're not even carrying a stick. They're not even. I can't just understand it. Guys, don't forget we are still at the National Mosque, Abuja, and don't forget also to subscribe to our channel. The next video I'm going to post, I don't want this to be too long. The next one is going to be the burial proper at the military cemetery. Do well to check it out. Thank you. And may the souls of the departed rest in peace. But I personally do not believe all the souls that depart here do rest in peace. There are actually souls that do not, and there are conditions that are responsible for that.
A very sad moment for Nigeria. Military officers, families, and friends of the late Chief of Army Staff, now they here, all sad. The look on their faces show say then day in mourning. The government don't describe in death as a very shocking news to the country, and many don't come here to honor the man where they just give responsibility to help tackle the security situation for Nigeria. This now BBC Pidgin live broadcast from the National Mosque here from the Nigerian capital, where the funeral prayer go hold for the late Chief of Army Staff. In body don't arrive the mosque, and any moment from now then go honor him, pray, do the funeral prayer, and then from there they will carry and go the military they go the cemetery, the National Military Cemetery, where they go bury him. So you see people in tears, family members, people in tears. It's a very heartbreaking moment. Men, women, family members, people in tears to show their emotion. They know if you hold back their tears, and they in pain. They know if you believe, say, the man who just entered power just few months ago, no longer they are alive again. Okay, so they push us back now, but in body don't arrive the National Mosque, like I say, for the funeral prayers. We're going to talk to a few persons where Sabian and where they are very emotional at the moment. The country, they in mourning, friends, family, loved ones, they in tears, sake of waiting don't happen. Bros, well done. I still say you day in pains, and I know say you did cry. What in your relationship with Attahiru, and how you feel about him death?
Very sad. The most important, the chief of staff is my Oga. I've been working with him since 2008. This man was very dear for me.
Okay. Which kind of work you did do for him? It is well.
His driver.
You are his driver.
Yes.
Which kind of person where Attahiru be?
He is the boss to my Oga. He's the boss to my boss. The man I'm working with is the boss to him.
Okay.
They are working together. My Oga. I don't even know what to say.
It is well.
Thank you.
I see that you're crying too. It is well. Sorry for what has happened. We're sorry. So men, women, the tears, cry of someone people love, family members, people they in tears. His military colleague don't come here. Family members don't dey here. People don't gather for the National Mosque for the prayers. We know say now on Friday night this the plane crash. Him and other 10 officers that then died for the plane crash for Kaduna State. The Nigerian government don't describe in death as shocking. The Nigerian president, I mean to say, other government functionaries or other government officials don't say in death na re-blow to the fight against insurgency for Nigeria. We also know say Attahiru don't dey at the forefront of tackling insurgents for the northeastern part of the country. He don't head several departments where they focus on Boko Haram to make sure say they deal with Boko Haram. So when they make a chief of army staff, many people believe say he go do his best to tackle these menace where the country don't face for more than 10 years. But as he be now within death, the country day in mourning. Now real Black Friday for the country and the people of Nigeria. When we talk to some people who don't come here to get their own feeling as waiting they feel about it. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Can we talk a little bit later?
Okay, fine. I know it's a hard time for everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So many of them even know if he talk to us at the moment, but we did here. I'm going to bring on waiting they happen and a bit of commentary about waiting they happen here right now. If you just join us, this is not the BBC News Pidgin Live broadcast from the National Mosque here from the Nigerian capital, Abuja, where we did where they're going to do funeral prayer for the Chief of Army Staff. The country was thrown into mourning on Friday when the news breaks, say the Chief of Army Staff and some other officers of the Nigerian Army then died for plane crash. Now, very terrible moment for the country, a country where they battle with insurgents, bandits, kidnapping, with plenty security issues at the moment. They say this is a real hard blow for the country. The country, they in mourning, Nigerian people, the military family, everybody, they cry, everybody they weep for the loss of this great fighter. We know say in don't they work, in don't they put plenty effort to restructure the military, to try to bring reforms, to also give morale to officers for where they fight the insurgents. And with this one happening now, many things say in death will surely affect the war against insurgents. Whether this is not true or not remains to be seen or known. Sake of say time still day, never clear who would take charge, never clear what direction the military would take. But as it is now, at the moment, the military community, they bleed in tears sake of the death of their loved one. Okay, so if not just they see, go see say 2 ambulances they here right now. For those ones who be Christian, they don't start their church service, I mean to say, and plenty people they cry there, family members they there, many of them they weep for the death of their loved ones. We all know say this not be the first time where military plane don't crash this year. Sometime we hear how one of them been crashed around the Nigerian Abuja airport here. One said don't miss. Jackpot, they say they look for and never see where it land, and then this one now. So many don't they ask question about the safety of the airspace in Nigeria, and also how good the planes, where would they drive for Nigeria, where would they fly for Nigeria day now. So all of these ones, will they bring on a commentary, will they talk to now more on these issues when people they're willing to talk. At this moment, plenty of people don't want to talk. They're still they shocked, they're still they in tears, and just like the people, even the country, the clouds that hovers around the country now, they dark. People they in tears, in pains, and in fear of what next, as their Oga don't die like this. Okay, if you just join us, this now the BBC paging live broadcast from the Nigerian capital Abuja. We did precisely for the National Mosque, where we know say the funeral prayer for the Chief of Army Staff will happen. People don't gather, family members, loved ones, people just did here boku to honor him, and at the same time to pray, say may God receive him soul for the work where you don't do for the Nigerian military, and for waiting, and for those where you don't touch their life personally. We're going to take on around to see the kind of people where they here, people where want honor them. Some now mates for school, others now mates for the military, others now retired military personnel and all of that, and many of them 9 colleagues, junior and senior, where don't they here for grant. So now waiting, we did here as BBC live, doing a live broadcast from this place, and to tell you waiting they happen from the National Mosque here on this matter.
Already.